Welcome to episode 3 of the Specs Appeal podcast with Maddie and Steph. I'm Steph.
And I'm Maddie.
And we're here to talk about things we are interested in.
Pretty much
right?
sums it up.
That's what it, yeah.
I want to thank you guys for lasting 3 episodes with us.
Yeah. That's pretty impressive, I think.
It's pretty good. I know by episode 3, though, if I'm going to finish the podcast.
Is that where you give it? So we got to do really good.
Yes.
We may lose our listeners.
I lied. It was probably like the first episode.
Uh-oh. That's scary because our first one's a little, I don't know, out there.
It's okay. Alrighty. Well, how are you doing today, Steph?
I'm doing pretty good. Nothing real exciting to report. I hate traffic. That's something. Yesterday, it was Friday, and I wanted to drive home, but I couldn't because the traffic was so bad. It was going to take me 3 hours. So I sat in a parking lot for 2 hours instead.
That's crazy. Out here in Southern California, you could get to the same destination if I left at 7:30 in the morning, I'd get there by 9.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I left at 8:30, I'd still probably get there by 9.
It's crazy.
Just because of all that.
My road rage has gotten really bad since I started this job.
And maybe since your new car.
Well, you know. So, okay, let's talk about this for a second. So I bought a Prius. It's a 2019 Prius, and I love it because I needed something with better gas mileage. I swear, people hate me because I drive a Prius. Like, I get honked at for things that I didn't even do wrong. Because I'm pretty sure it's because I drive a Prius.
It's probably. I would honk at you. But ever since you got the Prius, I see Priuses everywhere.
I know.
That's the crazy thing.
It's a really great car, you guys. I really, really like it.
We went to Vision Expo West in it.
We did. We drove to Vision Expo. We drove to Vegas in it. And it went, yeah. It even asked me on the way back if I wanted to take a break. Like, it had a little coffee cup, and it was like, do you need to take a break? Because we had been driving for, like, I don't know.
We were almost home.
Yeah, we were. So it had been, like, 4 hours.
Mm-hmm. I know, it was a good little car. I don't judge you. I think the people of
She's judging me.
Southern California definitely do judge you, though.
I'm here to change awareness. That's what this podcast is all about. It's to change the awareness of Prius drivers.
Okay. Well,
I have an uphill battle.
I don't need to subliminally put messages in all our...
Prius!
Oh, gosh.
Be nice to me.
Oh. Well, Steph got a new car. I got a new place to live.
That's true. It's way nicer, I gotta say. She would send Snapchats probably every week of the cops in front of her old place.
It didn't look that bad, guys. I promise. I don't live in the slums.
It's still San Diego, yeah. Like, it's not that bad.
It's just, you know, there's a big homeless population down the street, so that affected it. So, new house, new me.
It's nice. The new place is really nice.
Yeah, so that's, you know, what's new. We're up and up in the world. So, yeah. You guys, you want to get into our day today, our podcast?
Sure. What's our topic for today?
It is our start to finish selling. So, kind of our patient journey, path, how we're going to take our patient through everything so they walk out with the best darn pair of glasses you guys can prescribe them.
Okay.
So, when I was an optician, there was a lot of different things that I did, and I think totally differently than how Steph did it and how I did it from my private practice to lens crafters, and even visiting accounts now. I see that patient journey be a little bit different. But personally, what we did is after the patient checked in, we would take them to pre-testing, and I would do the pre-testing. And there that's when I would ask some of those questions that we mentioned in our last podcast, if you haven't listened to yet. It's the 4 questions you should ask your patients. But I'd ask some of those questions there. So once the patient went to the doctor and came back out and the doctor did that handout, I'd have a little bit of an idea, and then we could still talk about some more in-depth questions and patient needs. But I really think the pre-test room is a great place to start. because as you're setting up equipment, they might be in there. So that's easy things you can talk about and you can take with you. And while you're waiting for them to come out, if you have the time, depending on how busy your office is, you can kind of brainstorm some different lens options for them prior to them coming out and you having to do it in front of them. I also think the doctor handoff is really important. Selling from the chair, but also just giving your optician credibility. I know I've had doctors that didn't sell from the chair whatsoever, but when they came out and handed that patient to me, I was Maddie, the world-renowned optician. Just kidding. I wish you said that. But no, he would give me a lot of credit to the patient, and that made a world of difference because we all know doctors, they wear the coat. What they say is gold. So when they come to us, it's really just selling. And that's what we're trying to change, is that stigma of we're not selling, we're really prescribing medical devices. And by the doctor giving me that credibility really helped persuade that patient to not look at me as a seller and just trying to upsell them on getting all these add-ons, but really the quality of them and how it is going to make their lenses better and improve their life. So that's kind of like my patient journey and how I think you can incorporate it throughout their whole experience at the office. I don't know what Steph has to say on that.
So my thoughts are, I mean, it really does start from the moment the patient walks in the practice.
Because we're seeing frames and everything.
Yeah, it's a whole environment thing. And I mean, it really comes down to even when you start with the pre-testing, you should be mentioning the products you sell in a way that by the time they get to the optician at the end of the appointment, they're already going to kind of get an idea of the things that you're going to be asking them about. So using, when the patient comes in for pre-testing, it's typically, I don't know how you guys ever did it, but we would always read the glasses so that, especially if they were not a former patient, we would read their current glasses so that we could inform the doctor when the doctor came in of what their prescription is, anyway, blah, blah, blah. So I think that's a really important time to talk about, what their glasses are, what kind of glasses there are, what do they not like about their glasses. Like even those optician questions we talked about the last episode can even be brought up in the pre-testing, especially too when I don't know, I always felt really weird when I was in a pre-testing room with just one other person, and I like to talk.
Oh, do you? You like to talk?
So it's nice to have something to talk about, because there's just to kind of break that weirdness in the pre-testing room.
And who cares if it's the same questions?
Yeah.
Because you're only going to see that patient once. So it might get a little repetitive in your head, but remember, You're not seeing that same person.
Right. Yeah. So I think, just having that as a casual conversation in the pre-testing room as far as what their glasses are doing for them now is important. I also think it's super important to sell from the chair, like you said, because people trust doctors more than they're going to trust opticians. I can have every license in the book for opticianry, but in the end, it's all about the doctor and what the doctor says. And that goes back to that whole prescribing a medical device, and what the doctor recommends is what's going to be the most important. So I do think prescribing from the chair is super important, especially because typical business owners are the doctors, and your bread and butter is going to be selling glasses. So if you can just help those opticians just a little bit more by recommending lenses to the patients, that's just going to make it a lot easier on you in the end. The handoff also, I feel, is super important, just to, make sure that the optician understands the things that was discussed in the doctor's office. Even better is if you have scribes that start from the pre-testing all the way to prescribing the glasses. One of my best accounts does it that way, where they have one person that follows them throughout the entire office all the way to the end. And, it sounds kind of silly, but as you progress with this person, you're building that relationship throughout that appointment, and, that trust is going to be a lot easier than if you just come out, here's the optician, trust what they say. You have to kind of earn that trust. And I feel like throughout the course of the appointment, it's a lot easier to do it that way. I also think having scribes makes it quicker. You can definitely be a lot more quicker and efficient as far as getting through the appointment. And then, coming back to the end where we, with the optician, they're already going to get a good feel of what that patient's looking for before they even talk to them, based on, what they're told from what has been previously discussed throughout the entire appointment. So, and plus, like, let's say you bring up anti-reflective coating, if you just talk about it at the very end, if you talk about it at the beginning of the appointment during the pre-testing, anti-reflective coating, they have more time to think about it and process it and ask questions about it. And then when they get to the optician, anti-reflective coating's brought up again, and it's not like oh wait, what?
Yeah.
What do I need this for? They already have been, I'm trying to think of the right word.
Exposed.
Yeah. They're already exposed to those things, materials, anti-reflective coating, lens designs they're using in the office, like using those words.
I do want to add to that as well. I knew in my office and at the office that me and Steph worked at together.
Was it an office?
I don't know what to call that thing. But I would say anti-reflective. That's what I grew up, grew up saying. No, that's what I said in my previous
grew up
practice.
in my optician days.
For the few years I was there. But some people call it just AR to their patients. Some people call it anti-glare. Some people say no glare. I really think as an office, everybody needs to use the same terms. Just so, the scribe or the pre-tester mentions anti-glare, and then they come out to you, the optician, and you say anti-reflective, that's going to be a whole nother world that they have no idea about. So that's just one little tidbit I wanted to add there. Try and keep your terminology the same
consistent
across all work.
Yeah, because if one person uses anti-glare and the other one uses anti-reflective coating, and then they're just going to get confused.
It's like the transitions and progressive thing. Yeah. People think, they don't know which is which. And I run into the issue where I call progressives transitions.
Oh my gosh.
This is in my early days, okay? It's because the patient said it. And anyhow, I'm not like that anymore. But scribes. You're seeing a lot more scribes.
I am seeing that a lot more out there because it's all about efficiency. And if the doctors, and also too, it's important to have that connection between the doctor and the patient. And it's hard to have that connection when you're talking to them and then you turn and type on the computer. Or you're talking while typing on the computer. So it's nice for the doctor to concentrate on patient care and then have a scribe worrying about typing it all in.
Yeah.
Because I think it just takes away, it's a weird break in the appointment, I think.
No, I totally understand. I don't think I have any accounts with scribes that I know of.
Really?
No.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. The one account I know of is your account.
Oh. And they're, they're a high volume account and it works great for them, especially because the scribe is there throughout the entire appointment, all the way to the end, knows exactly, it saves time too having to ask those questions.
Absolutely.
If you have just a regular optician, then, you're having to retell this whole story to each person to get.
So is the scribe the optician that sells at the end?
Yeah.
Oh.
They do the pre-testing to the scribing to the.
So they follow. Okay.
Yeah, they're with the patient the entire time, and they just have that one person that they deal with.
I like that a lot. Because then you do gain that trust and you do get to just have a conversation. And then they're going to tell you about their kid's sporting game that they have this weekend. Then automatically you get a second pair of sunglasses.
There you go.
I don't think it's automatic. It takes a little bit of work. But that's something that you wouldn't think to mention if you were just asking, generic questions. Oh, I like it. Alrighty. Well, we'll be back with our next segment too.
Okay, so today's Reddit question of the episode is, are anti-reflective coatings worth it? I spend hours in front of a monitor all day. I've been told that the coating prevent eye fatigue and things like that. I'm just reading verbatim.
Okay.
I don't really care the reflex of light because I'm using glasses without reflective. I don't drive, but now I have to change my glasses, so I have the opportunity to add the coating. The difference is $50. I don't live in the USA, so don't bother with cheap alternative recommendations.
Okay, well, I hear the language barrier in that question.
Yeah, I'm a little confused because they say that they heard the coating would prevent eye fatigue, which it would have to be a blue light filtering coating.
Which I personally do not agree with.
As a coating?
Yeah. I don't like them.
What don't you like about them?
The color.
Oh, I see.
I don't want to say don't agree with, but yes.
It's against my religion.
I do not prescribe, or would not prescribe, anti-reflective blue light reflecting coating.
You prefer to absorb.
Yes.
Than reflect. Okay. Well, anyways, that was not what the question is.
Okay.
It was about anti-reflective coatings being worth it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, I agree. Especially if they're in high index.
Yes.
I think that's really
I
important.
think for everybody.
True.
Because, again, cosmetically, and the way they look, that is the first thing I notice in people's pictures if I'm walking around the mall, if they do not have anti-reflective coating on their lenses.
It is shocking to me the amount of celebrities I see on TV that have no anti-reflective coating, and you can't even see their eyes. And it's like, who approved this?
It's very frustrating. Don't we know the people that do the TV glasses?
I don't know.
Oh no, yeah, anti-reflective coating. That's a big thing. I think that everybody should have. I think you should, as an office, look at your percentage of anti-reflective coatings.
It should be automatically, like, you can't not, you know, it's like when you come to the patient with the pricing, it should automatically always include anti-reflective coating.
I remember I had one patient that splurged on the frame,
of course,
and so they weren't going to get, they had a high prescription and they were just going to stick with plastic because they splurged on the frame. I very nicely told them that I was not going to let them out of this office without anti-reflecting on their brand new frames.
Oh my gosh.
With their lenses. It all worked out. We got it figured out.
Did they buy it?
They did.
Yeah.
They actually did. Because I explained to them the worth and the benefits that they are going to get from having anti-reflective coating.
Yeah, and I know at my office we had, because there's a lot of different ones to choose from, so we actually had I had cut demo lenses into a few different frames, one having the anti-reflective coating, one not, so that they could see the differences, and I think that really made a big difference in showing them, like, you can look like this, or you can look like this.
Absolutely. We had a pair, and you'd put it on, and you would physically see halos in one eye and not in the other.
Yeah. We also had patients, too, that would have anti-reflective, and then they'd be like, I'm not going to get it this time. Like, they were trying to save money. Literally, every single one of those people came back.
Absolutely.
Because they couldn't stand the reflections.
Did you ever get the question, well, can I just add it on later?
Yeah. It's like, why not just get it now?
But you can't even add things to glasses, so I thought that was kind of a funny question sometimes. Having to deal with patients.
Oh, those patients. Aren't they fun?
We'll definitely have a patient segment.
Patient appreciation episode. I use the term appreciation loosely.
Alrighty.
So that is our Reddit question for this episode. Okay, so our sales tip of the episode is when you are presenting your lenses or frames, you always start at the top. So it's always best to offer first the best product that you have available to your patients, And then if you need to downgrade, you can. But it's almost impossible to start at the bottom and work your way up.
This is something I have to go over with accounts actually really often, is starting at the top and offering the best. Because first off, if I was a patient and you're offering me bottom of the barrel lenses, and I find out that I could have better lenses and you didn't think I was good enough to have the best, there's a little bit of bad taste.
I don't know if it's like that you're good enough. I think a lot of opticians look at their patients and maybe they think personally I couldn't afford this.
They judge
so
the size of
I'm gonna assume that they can't either, and so they just end up going down when you really do not know what that patient
absolutely
wants or can afford, or what even they were thinking of when they came into your shop, like what they were thinking of what they were going to pay.
Yeah. No,
so it's important to always start with your premium products, give them everything, and go from there, because you can't go the other way. It won't work.
Yeah, definitely start at the top, because then, I mean, it's when it usually comes to price, too, is if you start at the bottom and you offer, a standard progressive lens on VSP, and they give you, okay, that's great, the price works, you get them with good, or bottom, what's the lowest? B is the standard anti-reflective coating?
I don't know.
Because, DCB would be like...
Is there an A?
There is an A, but...
Is that
you should
too
not
bad?
touch A.
Oh, okay.
I never touched A. But then, so you get... It was no problem selling them all that. And you get them the total, and then you're shooting yourself in the foot, because you're like, well... I could have gotten a lot higher with that.
Yeah.
So if you start high and start with the premium progressive, start with the, best lens material, start with the best anti-reflective coating, see if they want to add on, tints or transitions or polarization, different, those add-ons. And if not, this is where I think it's really important as the optician, is know where to take away from first.
Mm-hmm.
So say... they're -4, and you offer them 167. Depending on their frame, I mean, they can't do it. It's just a little too much, and they want to take the price down somewhere. Maybe they chose a smaller frame, so maybe they could get away with a Trivex or a polycarbonate lens. Maybe take away from there first. I recommend never taking away from the design. That has to be last to go, because that's really what they're going to see change, and what really makes the lens that lens that's going to help them see the best. Coating might be able to get... I'm really iffy to give on...
I think if it comes down to price, I would always try to talk them down on the frame.
Oh, yeah, you could do that too. Frame would be first choice.
I mean, frames are great. Mm-hmm. I love frames, but in the end, I think if it comes down to price, it should be more about the lens than the frame.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of good frames out there that aren't, $400 or $500. Mm-hmm. That's just my personal opinion.
I mean, that's something that I just looked over.
You didn't even think about it.
Didn't even think about it. I mean, in the moment, that would be something. Yeah. But definitely have that kind of order of what you would take away from if they can't give the best. Because you'll run into instances where you give them the best, you throw in a couple extra things there, and they have no problem saying yes.
Yeah.
And they buy it. Because we don't know the size of their wallet, and that's, one issue that I dealt with as an early optician, and when I'm doing optician trainings and was teaching new opticians, don't assume. You never know what they can do, and you never know priorities. And my priority is always vision, even as a patient too, is at this point, I know what's out there and I want to see the best. And so that's something I think we're trying to do as opticians and doctors, and just trying to change that stigma and get our patients into the best medical device.
Yeah. And I think they may have walked in there thinking like, I'm going to spend $600, and then you offer a lower tier lens and it's only $300. But really you probably could have got them in a better lens. Absolutely. Or a better frame, or had, added anti-reflective coating or upgraded the material. Like, there's a lot of different factors there that you missed out on. So always start with what the best recommendation for your patients are. I mean, it doesn't even have to be the most expensive, because there's, even let's say they needed an occupational lens, that's not the most expensive lens, but it's going to be what's best for the patient, versus a single vision lens. So, there's a lot of different factors there. We definitely want to be offering the best for our patients. So, yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you for listening today. We are enjoying talking to you guys, even though we're in a room by ourselves talking to each other. It's really fun, and we hope you guys are enjoying it. And
follow us on Instagram. You forgot to plug us.
Specs Appeal Pod. Find us on Instagram. Mm-hmm. Also like and subscribe.
Hit that like button, smash that subscribe, or whatever the cool kids say now. She's the one on TikTok. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do we have a TikTok yet?
We don't.
Okay, we'll have our TikTok by the next episode.
All right, guys. Thanks so much, and have a good day. We're signing off.